views and opinions expressed in this podcast and on our social media accounts do not represent that of the entire death industry. While we make every effort to ensure that the information we are sharing is accurate, we welcome any correction of errors, comments, concerns, or suggestions. Privacy is of utmost importance to us. All people and places mentioned in this podcast have been changed to protect the families we serve. This podcast should not be used in any legal capacity whatsoever. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only. Any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own discretion.
Welcome back, folks, to the Dying to Share podcast. You got Barry and Morty here again still.
Hello.
And this episode is going to be very Morty heavy.
Woohoo.
Last one was very Barry heavy of me just talking to myself.
Yeah.
This one is going to be a lot of Morty talking to herself.
No. You're going to ask some really awesome
Nope,
questions because you're very intrigued with the art of embalming.
I'm going to be uncomfortable for most of the episode. I'm going to be squirming around in my chair.
You'll be fine.
I'm going to be hopefully hugging my dog, keeping me sane. But yes, this is going to be very embalming heavy.
Yes.
And all the procedures, all the chemicals, all the do you want to get embalmed? Do you advise embalming? Is there the do's and don'ts of embalming? All of that, right?
I don't know. I guess I'm
leading you into giving you plenty of material here.
We'll see how it goes.
So a family decides, I'm assuming, that they want to be. So they don't actually say I want to be embalmed. It's going to be like I want to have calling hours and I want to be viewed.
No.
So you can be.
We have to legally ask
Really?
If they want an embalming, right?
Okay.
Because you can have a viewing and not be embalmed.
Okay. Now, but if you... So
it could be a family viewing, depending on the funeral home. It could just be a public viewing, no embalming.
Really?
It depends on the funeral home.
How long does it take before it starts putting out
an odor?
Odor, yeah.
Almost immediately, I think they start, yeah. Jeez. And it depends on the person, on what they went through, how quickly they decompose, so...
Yuck. So that's why whenever you do a transfer, as you call them, you do the embalming that night, right?
Yeah, you try to do it immediately because you're trying to, halt the decomposition rate.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, as soon as possible because, what have I told you before? Do you remember? What starts happening? That's bad.
Rigor mortis?
Rigor mortis, but what else? What happens to your blood?
Oh, is it coagulating?
Mm-hmm.
Yuck.
Yeah. Is it coagulating or coagulating? Is it just preference?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think it's a dialect thing where...
We're just probably wrong in some sense.
Like radiator and radiator. I think there's a difference, or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
So, yeah, the blood starts, becoming a solid and clotting. And that's really hard because the whole embalming process is circulation. So if your circulation is restrained, then it's going to be an issue.
So do you have to remove drain all of the blood?
You try to do all of it. Once the blood kind of leaves the body, you'll start seeing the return fluid. Instead of it being blood draining, you'll see embalming fluid.
So I'm going to ask some questions, and I don't know the proper terminology for this. I was a bio major in college at one point, but where do you, lack of a better term, tap the individual?
Where do you cut in?
Yeah, to drain.
Mm-hmm. So you make an incision right by the neck. All right, so you're trying to aim for the carotid and the jugular.
Okay.
So you're gonna raise those. So you make an incision that's pretty deep. You'll hit some muscle. You then go underneath that muscle and find the vein, and then the jugular vein and the carotid artery.
So do you have to put something in there to, where does the blood actually go?
Yeah. So when you go in and you're opening, you have the incision.
By the way,
opening.
viewer discretion advised for all of this.
Yeah, true.
I don't know if this is gonna be.
I'm not gonna like sugarcoat things, you know. So like, if you don't like this stuff and you have a weak stomach, like maybe not the episode for you. But if you're like super interested in this stuff and really curious on how an embalming process actually is, then yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, I just realized that because I don't know. But sorry, continue. Yeah. So where does the blood go?
So when you make the incision, you use some instruments, and they basically cut away the tissue. You're like pulling the tissue away. They're called aneurysm hooks typically, and you're like shredding basically through the tissue. And then you very carefully scoop that aneurysm hook underneath the vein in the carotid artery. You're going to try to keep them together because it's just easier, or you can separate them. You're going to tie a string around each one so you don't lose it. And after that, you're going to make a cut into the vein, which you're then going to stick forceps into, which will open the vein and allow the blood to be pushed out while the embalming fluid is being pushed into the artery.
So you're just doing an oil change.
That's a good way to see it. If you're a man and you like cars, that's a pretty good comparison.
So you're just removing the blood and replacing it with embalming fluid.
Yes. So the blood, like, that's what's helping you. That's why embalmings aren't like, you're not going to ever decompose, right?
No, just delays.
Like, because you still have tissue. Mm-hmm. You still are going to rot in some way. But taking the blood out and filling it with chemicals is a way to like halt, and also add fluid, because that not fluid but dye, you know, like you're gonna turn a little bit pink after embalming because there's dye in the chemicals instead of you being like white, so you don't have to cosmetize as much as before.
Where does the blood go?
So there is a sink, or sometimes I've seen a toilet at the end.
Toilet, really?
Mm-hmm. Of a embalming table. So embalming tables are usually on an angle, with the head being higher and the feet being lower, so the blood flows that way. There's usually a hose connected to the table. Somehow we have this little like magnetic holder, so you put the hose into the magnetic holder on the table, and it holds it, and it flows the blood in a direction down the table, and it goes into we have a sink. It goes into our sink and drains that way. And yeah, some people have a toilet.
Are the individuals like held down on said table, or no?
Like restrained?
Yes. I don't know if like their arms are out, like is it Da Vinci drawing there?
No, not like the Da Vinci. So you typically, when you're embalming, you want them to be in the position that they're going to be in. So you'll try to put their hands on top of each other. Oh. But while you're embalming, you're massaging the extremities too. Because the more you massage, right, you're creating friction, you're creating like some type of heat and energy, which pushes the blood out. Mm-hmm. So you're helping the chemicals get to that area. So you're really going to try to focus on the hands. You know what I mean? You're going to focus on the arms. You're going to focus on the face. So rub their legs. I mean, I lift legs up, and sometimes there's a rootin' tootin' coming out. Oh. Yeah, it's no fun.
So what happens if you leave too much blood in?
They probably will start to decompose faster than.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that would like mix or something.
Yeah, it's usually if you don't get drainage, that body's gonna not be as embalmed for as long as you normally would.
Typically, how long when somebody's embalmed, what's like the wait time?
If you had like a good embalming, I would say you could get up to like 3 weeks, maybe a month. Yeah.
That long?
Yeah.
Yeesh.
If it was a good embalming. I mean, sometimes you can even push it with a bad embalming. It's just you don't ever like promise a family how they're gonna look in weeks and weeks out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, embalming fluid goes in.
Yes, embalming fluid goes in, so it's circulating throughout all of your body. Mm-hmm. While you're doing, before you make your incision and you start pumping embalming fluid, what you're gonna do is you're gonna be closing the features, which are the eyes and the mouth. Most people die with their mouth open, sometimes with their eyes open. They're not always closed for them at the facilities that they die at.
How do you close them? Do you sew them?
So, your face right now. So also, like, if they need to be shaved, you're gonna shave. Are you gonna be sick?
No, I'm not gonna be sick.
You look like you're gonna be sick.
No, I'll be all right. It's just I don't know. I don't like this part.
Yeah.
But I guess you gotta shave them, don't you?
Yeah. So if they need to be shaved, I typically shave before I close any of the features because you're kind of sticking your hand in that person's mouth and or using utensils to pull it so you can get all of the crevices of the face and the hair off of it. And then I will wash the face because usually people have some eye boogies and cut all the nose hair, do all that stuff. And then I'll put eye caps in the eyes. So eye caps they look like contacts, but with spikes. So they're put into the eye to hold the eyelid shut. Because sometimes during embalming, that pressure will try to open the eyes, because of the circulation happening. It'll kind of have a little bit of pressure, but they also just keep the eyes closed.
Okay. I didn't know that was a thing.
So you dip the eye caps into, typically we use petroleum jelly, and just kind of gives it a little bit more goop, a little bit more room for moving. You close the eye. You have to line it up because some people's eyes, you want it to look like they're peaceful and sleeping, not like their eyes are when you're sleeping, your eyelids are lower, right?
Right.
And you have I don't know if you've ever seen an embalming where it's the eyelids are meeting each other at the bridge of your nose.
Okay.
It's it looks too too high.
Okay.
And that might have been because they were having a hard time stretching the eyelids. Maybe that person started blowing up in the eyes during the embalming process, and it just created a puffier look. Maybe that's just the person's eyes. You never know. But you want to make sure they are looking like they're sleeping as much as possible. So it's usually the eyelids are a little bit lower.
Okay.
Closer to your nostrils than your eyebrows. And then
the mouth.
The mouth. So there's different ways.
Yeah.
I hate mouths too. I think I've said this before. I really props to dentists because oof.
So how do you?
I sew because
the lips. This is a serious question.
No, I know, and it's just it's funny to me because that's a lot of people's questions, right? That's they immediately go, "You sew the lips shut," and it's funny because it's how if you really sat back and thought about it.
But what else do you grab?
You grab the skin near the jaw, your flap,
but not
down here.
That?
And you go underneath to the bone. You kind of scrape against the bone, pull up,
like the chin bone, but through the mouth.
It's your jaw.
Yeah, chin bone. That's a dumb way of putting it. Okay. So then you hook that, and then when you
go up.
Top,
okay, and then you go through your top lip.
You don't
Sorry if I sound weird. Yeah.
By the way, this is an audio medium. You don't need to do demonstrations. No one sees it.
We have showing you.
Okay, all right.
So you go through your top lip, and then you go up, and there's space in between your nose and your top lip, right? So you push into your nostril right here.
Okay.
Same side. And then you're going to push through the other side and go down and connect it and tie it.
But then how do you get the utensil out?
You pull it. It's going to be pulled out because when you come from this side of the nose to this side, you're going in.
So your left
and then
nostril
down.
to your right nostril.
Well, whichever.
Okay.
Whichever nostril you go into, yeah.
But then how do you get the tool out though?
So it's a needle.
Okay.
So it's threaded, right,
yes.
with a piece.
Oh, so then you pull it and you pull it away and it tightens, and then you just cut it.
You pull it out, yeah, with it.
So where's the
string? And then you pull the strings tight.
Yeah.
So you're using a needle to go down,
scoop,
yeah. Up into the top lip, through the nostril, and then back, you're going underneath the septum, basically, to the other nostril, and then down, and then you pull the string out, and now you have two ends of the string meeting each other at that one side of the mouth.
Out of the mouth, and then you just pull them tight.
You push the jaw up a little, and then you
get rid of the slack.
Yep.
But when you do the little knot, where does the knot go?
So you kind of push it behind the front teeth.
Cool.
You flip it and then push it underneath the front teeth.
Cool.
And then there's other instruments, you can use a needle injector, which is basically, it's almost like a nail gun in a sense, but it has an anchor and then a large or a longer strand of, I don't know, some type of metal, and it's connected to the anchor, and the anchor pit goes into the gum and anchors into the gum. You like shoot it into usually above a canine of some sort, the bottom and the top, and then you hold the jaw up and you twist those two. Yeah, needle injector. So I don't like the way it feels on my hand to use a needle injector, and it actually hurts me. I don't know if we have an old needle injector or what, but it pains me in my little hand. So I prefer to sew. Okay. And sometimes you have to sew, like if somebody's gums are really bad. I've seen people have to go underneath the chin, like wrap around the jawbone, because the gums are just so non-existent that you can't pull from it. So you have to go underneath the jawbone. You'll see like a little, almost like a dimple underneath the chin, because then they go right through the same hole back around the jaw and then up the nose.
So either way, it goes to the nose.
Yeah.
Okay. And
then you fill that mouth with cotton to like fill it out, because a lot of people look emaciated, or like there's more like movement to your mouth than when you're laying there. So if you're just like sitting there, or if they had dentures, it looks like something's missing. So you fill it with cotton. Or there's this thing called pose, and it's like a putty. And you fill the mouth with the putty and you kind of form it.
Man, the more you talk about it, the more medieval it sounds.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too, because it's like actually come such a long way. You think about the Egyptians that really started doing it, right?
Yeah.
Putting everything in jars. I mean, they were the first autopsy in a sense.
So, blood's gone, mouth's closed, eyes closed.
Well, no. So blood is after. So you want to close the features first.
I thought that takes the longest. I thought you did that first.
Well, I'm not as experienced too. So like I like to get my features set first, because once you start embalming, like those features are setting.
Oh, I see.
So I can't work as fast like as somebody that's been in the field for 30 years. Then they can start embalming and doing features at the same time, and their features are going to set after, because they're just moving fast. I like take a little bit. Me forming a mouth, that's like 40 minutes of my time right there, because I'm just because it's such an important part of the person too. Like I don't want it to look wonky. I don't want their mouth to be open. I want to make sure it looks even. Their lips are meeting in the right place, because you have a natural line on your lips that usually like you can tell where somebody's lips lie.
So what did you think when you saw your first embalming?
I thought like, oh my God, this is so cool. What a unique way to use like chemicals, and how interesting for people to like figure this out. And the more I started doing it, the more I was like, ugh. This is so yucky. This is so like interesting and weird that people do this to each other. But then, I think about people stuffing animals.
But yeah.
So yeah. Like, we're just an interesting species. I don't enjoy it as much as I really thought I was going to.
You really thought you were gonna?
Yeah, because I felt like it was it's a very like honorable thing to do, to make somebody look like themselves again, which I really do enjoy cosmetizing. That's kind of where I feel like you can. Yeah, you call it painting.
I call it painting, yes.
And I always think about that whenever I cosmetize now. I'm like, oh, I'm painting this person. Mm-hmm. I still think that it's like pretty cool, but it's not. Like I don't love getting a call at 2 a.m. and having to go do an embalming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would probably be a pain.
Or like just being stuck in a room, no windows, by yourself, around a bunch of chemicals.
Though, I'm sure those chemicals are, well, I mean, was it formaldehyde is always like the one everyone thinks of.
Yeah, but formaldehyde's in like everything.
Okay.
It's like a chemical that's in clothing now, you know what I mean? Formaldehyde is everywhere. Large portions of it is any chemical is like horrible for you. And the way that we consume chemicals nowadays, I mean, it's all over our food. So
okay. Stay on topic.
not to get political.
Don't get your soapbox now. Yeah. But
yeah,
so
it's not good. You have to wear a respirator.
Is there any type of natural embalming?
Not to mine, but because some people would argue like chemicals are natural.
Well, you know what I mean, though. I mean, that's kind of an oxymoron, but like, is there a chemical that, like a substitute that can
preserve you?
That people might be leaning towards as a different option because it's greener or less damaging to the environment or to the soil or things like that.
Yeah, because that's a huge one.
Yeah.
Is people thinking, well, there are formaldehyde-free, like, embalming fluids, but there's still chemicals.
Right.
And, like, there are some that I guess are plant-based. It says plant-based extracts.
I mean, but you've never used those.
But I've never heard of anybody using them, but we also have to consider the area I'm in. Maybe, like, a larger city.
Yeah.
Would have more experience, and I'd love to talk to somebody about that if you have used.
Another dumb question.
What?
Do funeral homes get, like, lack of a better term, like, sponsored for, like, do they, like, buy one chemical brand for, like, all of them? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can, but usually it's you buy what chemicals you want from what company. And most of the time, I mean, like, Dodge is a huge one. Dodge is a huge embalming fluid company. There's Embalming. I think it's, like, literally Embalming Co. There's, like, Hilton Funeral Supply. I don't know if they supply actual...
All these companies sound like different divisions of existing companies. Dodge, Hilton.
But Dodge is one we use probably the most, and then Embalming Co. because they're a little bit cheaper. So, like, we'll get our hypo from Embalming Co. And hypo is the fluid that, like, after you aspirate. So, back on topic. Back to the actual embalming.
Meat potatoes of it, yes.
So your features are done. You open your incision and you find the vein. You find the artery. You're like, oh my God, this is great. And then you cut into the vein and some blood starts coming out. You're like, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. They're already draining and I haven't even stuck my forceps down into the vein to open it. You're like, this is beautiful. So you open the vein, you cut open the artery, you put your cannula, which is connected. It's a hose connected to your embalming machine, which pumps the fluid into the artery. You clamp down your cannula into the artery, and you start the machine. So depending on how big and small the person is, you decide the pressure and the index of the fluid going in.
Okay.
So the pressure is how fast, right? How much pressure. And then the index is how fast that fluid is going in.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, so I get that.
Yeah. So you're controlling that. And then while you're doing that, you're usually, like, massaging the legs, massaging the arms, massaging the face, washing the hair, cleaning underneath the nails, cutting the nails if they need to be cut. Yeah, you're just, like, watching the fluid, making sure it's draining going to certain locations.
How long does it take roughly? I mean,
usually for me, it's like 2 hours, but I'm also new. I know people that can do it. Usually it's under an hour for them.
Okay. I meant, like, the actual, like, when you had the pressure and everything set. Is it, like, I don't know, depending on the height? I'm guessing height's a factor. Is weight a factor? For, like, length to get all the remove all the blood.
Yeah, height, weight, and then also, like, if their veins and arteries are they sclerotic? Are they hard?
No.
Do they have a lot of blood clots coming out?
Are they nude for this too?
Yeah. You undress everybody.
If I assumed.
Yeah, and then it's like you give them their final, like, bath and
yuck.
Yeah.
That's gotta be a weird thing.
Well, yeah, but you don't fester on the private parts or anything like that. You're just kind of bathing them.
Would you?
Yeah, but, like, I feel like people are like, it's so weird. And it's like, you just, like, squirt some soap and
like
sponge them down.
I picture just hosing them down.
You sponge them down.
I picture you with, like, a cigarette hanging out of your mouth and just spraying it down. Yeah, like,
put some tunes on
like
and just get in the zone. Yeah. So after your fluid is, say your embalming is going really well, your fluid is going to all the extremities. You're like, hallelujah. You will stop embalming, like, stop pressing the fluid, and you will aspirate. So aspirating, there's a trocar, and it's this long, it almost looks like a spear. It's a long spear-like object, and it connects to your hose. So instead of pushing water out, you're going to be sucking now. So you pierce the stomach, and it's like 2 inches to the right of the belly button and 2 inches up. You pierce the stomach, and you start aiming for certain organs to try to suck the remaining liquid, whatever's inside, out. And sometimes you'll get, some clumps of stuff, like a clump of an organ, or like some poopy.
But what's the advantage of that? Once again, just to slow down decomp.
Yeah, decomp. Because what you're going to do is when you're poking all those organs, what you're not sucking up and what's being left in there, after you're done aspirating, you're going to take the trocar connected to another hose that you're going to be pumping chemicals from that hose to the trocar into the abdomen. So those chemicals, it's called hypo or hypos, it's going to sit in the cavity and like cauterize.
Now, when you're sucking these things out, are they attached to like a bag or something? Or?
No, it goes right into the sink.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the city?
Or somebody's toilet, yeah.
Why isn't that medical waste?
I don't know. I'm not in. This would be something for.
I mean, wouldn't it? I don't know. I just assume that would be some sort of medical waste, not just
because the water gets cleaned.
Yeah, but hospitals don't just do that. I wouldn't think.
What do you mean?
Like
they wash blood off their hands all the time.
Yeah, but it's different than porn blood, isn't it?
I don't know. I think that it's all the chemicals once again in our water, and there we go. It's going to be treated. That's what treatment plants are for.
I don't know. I just assumed they were medical.
Yeah, it's just waste. Like your poop. You don't think poop would be medical waste?
No, I don't think that. No.
Well, it should be. No, okay. Is it not the same? Something from your inside coming outside. And then going into our drinking water.
I guess. I digress. I don't. So where are we in this process? You just got so serious. Are we in the home stretch?
Yeah. So then, after you're done aspirating, after you're done putting the fluid into the abdomen, you're gonna put a trocar button into the hole that you made in the abdomen. You screw it in. Give the body the final wash and put some lotion on the face, close up the incision that you made, and call it a day.
That's another thing I was going to ask, and you might have covered it and I missed it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you make the incision for the carotid and you open it up and you start pumping everything in, do you have to sew it back?
Yeah.
Shut to keep everything in?
Yeah, well, it's when you aspirate, you can actually hit that hole too. So if there's any liquid in that incision, you can suck it right up when you're aspirating. So it's like a good sign is if you can hear like coming from the incision hole itself. It sounds like a bubbling like, and you're like, oh yeah.
But you have to close it up though.
So you're gonna actually tie off each end of where you cut for the artery and the vein. So it's like that hole is sectioned off. So you tie it off there, and then you're going to sew up the incision and put like some powder. It solidifies, creates a barrier, and then cover up the body with a sheet and put their name somewhere visible, comb their hair, put some moisturizer on their face.
Then you don't get them dressed afterwards.
No, you usually wait until like the day before service, if not the day of service if it's later.
Why is that?
Because it's to ensure that the body is not going to be leaking. Sometimes people aren't as embalmed as others. It's harder, it's more difficult. Like I just left an embalming earlier today, and this woman had breast cancer, and I don't know if she wasn't receiving the treatment, if she refused the treatment, but either way, she was on hospice, quite young. And when we removed her clothing, we noticed that her whole left boob was just necrotic. And necrotic is dying tissue. It's like black and gooey and green, and it's necrotic tissue. Mm. I just don't know if many people know what necrotic means. It's just it's dying tissue, and it's like that black. It's what you'll get when you get freezer burn, that black, and your body just starts decomposing while you're alive. So her whole left breast was necrotic. I mean, when we took off the bandage to see what was going on, the whole room just smelled.
I see.
Immediate. Yeah.
So do you have to clean that or do something?
So you're gonna put topical chemicals on it. So it's basically you're gonna create almost like a bandage that's just full of chemicals and lay it on top. Or you could also inject with chemicals right into that location.
But that's just to keep the odor out, essentially.
The odor, and also to stop the already happening decomposition.
And then if everything is done and say the service is going to be in like 4 days, where do you actually store the individuals?
So they're in our care center, which is aka the prep room, but we're trying this new care center
name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds softer.
Fair enough. But like, are they like tables, racks?
They're on tables.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody on our location, we have embalming tables. They're all on tables. If we run out of tables because there's so many people, they get on a stretcher.
How many can you hold?
I've never seen more than, and if they're not embalmed and they're going to be cremated, we try to get them in their cremation container and then bring them to the crematory when their paperwork is ready. So sometimes they'll be in their cremation container, on stretchers, on tables. I think at most I've seen in our prep room was like maybe 12 bodies.
Yeah. But you're a fairly large.
Yeah, we have a decent size, but it's not like, I mean, I've been to funeral homes where they have like 20 bodies in the prep room.
Yeah.
But it's, like that's a mixture of us having cremation, having, having people embalmed. So the day before service, you'll get the person dressed, and it's like any other day, you're going to bring exactly what they wear.
That's provided by the family, I'm sure.
Yes, and if the family can't acquire, we do have clothes that are donated. It's just they might not look like something that your loved one would wear, right?
Now, when you do the the painting, do you put your own flair on it, or is it whatever does the family give you something to work off of?
So usually they give you a picture, but I feel like every like cosmetologist has something, that they do.
Mm-hmm. But like, now that makeup is made for
embalming. Yeah.
Embalming.
It has some chemicals in it. It's also, so a lot of like human, like regular people makeup is ignited. Like it starts working when you meet it with heat because our faces are naturally warm.
That makes sense.
And that doesn't necessarily work. It won't spread as well, or it's not going to have the same effect. So a lot of our makeup is very creamy.
Right.
Like almost cakey, like a little souffle-y.
Okay.
And you use that. So a lot of the time you're just trying to make them look as natural as possible unless they were a makeup like person. Mm-hmm. So you'll put a little, like I always put a little color in everybody's eyelashes just because it kind of helps pop them and like just add a little bit of definition. Some people obviously wear mascara and some people don't. So you might use like a brown just to kind of, highlight them. You don't know.
I don't know. I'm just nodding, but yes.
And then you're going to use, colors that are going to highlight their cheekbones because a lot of people, when they're alive, you have natural, like red tones to your cheek, to your chin, your nose, your brow, your eyes, your ears. So you kind of just like highlight those places so they don't look all one tone, a very light tone. You'll highlight the knuckles, where it looks warm when you're living.
So you even cosmetize the hands.
Mm-hmm. And the arms if they need to be, if they're out and about and they're banged up.
Oh.
Like some women will wear short
That's right.
sleeve
You're not always like, I'm thinking of a male. Usually you're buried in a suit, but you don't have to be, I suppose.
Yeah, you can really be buried in anything.
Now, when you do the embalming, when you like remove like rings and necklaces and things like that too,
yeah,
and they're just stored away, or do you
put them in a bag? We have bags in our prep room, in our care center. We have bags, and
they're put back on, or
no, they usually like stay like, so after I cover up the person's body with a sheet, I'll put their name on a piece of paper on top of them, and if they have jewelry, I'm either going to take that with me to go back to the office, or I'm going to leave that on the counter of the prep room, and the bag is labeled with their name.
I remember my mother always saying, like, what a waste. She's like, whenever I die, don't bury me with any of my jewelry. Right. It's just a waste. Give it to my grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. My grandma got buried in costume jewelry. That's what she wanted. Like, because it looks real, but it's, like, not worth anything. Because she felt the same way. So then once the body is dressed, right, you're going to dress the body like your normal day. So you're going to put underwear on, socks on, shirt, pants, dress, whatever it may be.
How do you do that? How do you dress a dead body?
It's difficult. And
I imagine it'd be very difficult.
As somebody that, like, nannied, too, it's more difficult than putting on clothes of a 2-year-old, which is pretty difficult. So it's depending on the body. Like, if somebody's usually, like, under 150, maybe a little bit more than I am, then I'm able to kind of do it by myself. But if they're, like, heavier, like if they're over 300 pounds, like, I need help. I need another person to help me dress.
I'd imagine they get stiff too. So how do you?
Well, so it depends on the embalming. Once again, sometimes you're a little bit more flexible and what's going on with the body, but there's certain tactics, like moves, that you're going to use to put certain clothes on. So when we're putting underwear on, I lift a leg really high if I'm by myself and scoot it up under one butt cheek, and then I'll go on the other side, lift the leg really high, like above my shoulders, scooch it under that butt cheek, and then what should I say? What's the medical term for butt cheek?
Glute.
Your glute. And then you do the same thing with pants. For a shirt, if it's a button-down shirt, you're going to put the one arm in. You're going to pinch together the opening where the buttons are and the neck sleeve. Shove it underneath the neck. And you're going to pull that down the back towards the waist. And you can lift a shoulder up. Usually that helps slide it down. And then that hole should be super present right next to the person's, like, hip. And you can slide the arm into that hole, and then you're going to lift the shoulders and pull up the collar around the neck, and then you're going to lift the legs and pull the shirt down the back so it's even, and then you'll button. You do the same thing with a coat. For women in dresses, you're going to, like, pull it over their head. So you're going to put both of their arms in, pull it over their head, and then slide it down their back and slide it down their front.
So if they're not given any type of, like, if that's somebody who's just kind of, like, doesn't have anything, like it's found, you just have...
Yeah, we have clothes that are donated, and I have also gone thrift shopping for clothes because I was like, we should have a bulk of some clothes just in case somebody needs something. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of people forget undershirts.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't want to, like, see through a dad's shirt. So a lot of people will forget socks. And, like, some people maybe didn't want socks. I just always think it's a thing of mine.
They have shoes on, too?
Some people have shoes. Some people don't. It's just like some women will have bras, some won't. If you don't have underwear, we usually give you underwear donated. That's not, like, donated. It's a pack of underwear that we got. But
I figure it's not semi-used. Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you're, like, a leaking, so sometimes if you've had an incision, maybe you had a surgery and that's how you passed away, and now you have an incision, and that incision is still leaking after embalming, then you're going to be put in, like, bags, materials that are going to hold that liquid. So you have to, like, kind of work around the body to make them not look like a Michelin man because they're all poofy underneath their clothes because they have bags. There's that. And I'm trying to think of other things, like other unique embalming things. Usually you wait to do the hair until they're in the casket, and then you do the hair.
But you don't do the hair, or do you?
It depends on what the style is. I can't do, like, the old lady curls, like back in the day, Mm-hmm. And they, like, kind of poofed it up into a bee's nest. I don't really know how to do that. But if somebody is, like, younger and they have straight hair or they just have curly hair, I can do that. Like, I can add some curls to some hair, or I can straighten it. I just can't do, like, the beehive.
So, is there anything else you would like to mention about embalming?
Embalming necessarily?
Like the practice of it. Like cause I have some more questions, but they're not
embalming.
Technique. It's more
technique.
Of like technique. No. It's not technique related.
Okay, shoot.
So it takes about 4 hours. Or no, 2 hours.
Yeah, if it's bad one.
Yeah. Okay. So
I do actually. I want to pinpoint on that because it's not always good. And
no, of course not.
And with how we're treating our bodies, I think it's getting worse. Right? Like we're clot. There's so many people that have blood clots. There's so many people with sclerotic arteries, which leads to a ton of issues with circulation, which you deal with when you're alive too, but it just gets worse when you're dead. So, you might have to raise other arteries. You know, you might have to raise the femoral artery to inject both legs. You might have to raise the radial to inject the arms. You might have to raise the other side of the other carotid on the other neck. The other side of the neck, not the other neck. Hopefully there's not two necks. But, you know, so there are some times where it's longer. It takes a way longer because you're raising a ton of different arteries because the person is just not embalming.
So where I was going with that is there a flat fee?
Yes.
For embalming, regardless of how many hours.
Yeah.
You know, it's just one fee.
One fee, because you can't charge per how difficult it is, right? You'd have to like have proof to the family. Which you don't want to do. Yeah, and you can't even, like I told you before, we can't charge more for a CDT donation when they take us so much longer because you're missing a huge portion of what helps in embalming. So, do you feel comfortable disclosing how much an embalming costs? Our flat fee is $675. $675. Oh, ain't bad. No, especially considering, you know, I order chemicals and a case of 30 chemicals can be upwards of $300. I thought you were going to say thousands. Well, it's after everything, right? So the embalming itself is $675. Mm-hmm. Cosmetizing could be $150. Dressing and casketing, maybe another $150, $175. Because that's a topic we want to get into at some point. Like, why does it cost so much? Yeah. So that's why I was curious. I thought you were going to say the embalming process is because of all the chemicals and all the labor, it was going to be $3,000 there. No, alone. I think after dressing and casketing, after cosmetizing, after the embalming process itself, you're probably not looking at over $1,100 just for the embalming. But it's the casket. Right. It's the vault. Right. It's the cemetery fees. No, we're fine. It's the service of the funeral home. It's the church fees. It's the clergy fees. So it's not the actual embalming that's the expensive part. It's all the stuff attached to it. Well, and some people would say that the embalming, $350 for a cremation compared to $1,100 for an embalming, plus getting a casket. Right. Oh, I see. Okay. But I mean, you could get a cremation container for a casket and then cremate the person after they're embalmed. Right. Yeah, that's why cremation's picking up. Mm-hmm. So what's an urn cost? Like $50 to $500? 50 to maybe $1,000. Yeah, depending on how fancy you want to be. Diamonds and rubies. And or just a plastic box. I make them a clock. I've seen ones that are clocks or jewelry boxes. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, nice touch. So, with all that being said. Does Morty want to be? You almost called me my real nickname. I almost did. I had to do a double take there. Does Morty want to be embalmed? You sound like a robot when you say it. Morty. Hello, Morty. Yes. Do I want to be embalmed? I don't know. It's difficult for me because I think that it really depends on where I am in life. I think that it's important for people to see their loved one die. I think it's important. Well, not see them die, but... Yeah, no, I do. See them die? Yeah, like to be there with people when they're dying. That sounds better than my... Okay, sorry. Like, I'm not saying you should witness your loved one get murdered. That's what I was okay? Like, no. All right. Like, you should... If somebody's on hospice, I think it's an important part of the human development and just, like, connection as humans... To witness death and to be with somebody that you love to the absolute end. It's a different kind of love. It's a different level of understanding of how short life is, how easily we take things for granted as people. when we're living. I don't know. I think it's important for people to see that dying happens. You know, death is real. It is inevitable. It's unexpected. And to really be able to sit with that and sit with your, what's it called? When you're inevitably you're gonna die.
Mortality?
Yeah, your mortality. And yeah, and be there for somebody you love, because it's super hard to ask people for help. Right? And then when you're dying and you have no strength and you're watching these people that love you cry and be sad, it's a horrifying feeling. So you need to like be surrounded with people who are going to pick you up, and you need to be a person that can withstand that, you know, and understand that this is just happens to everybody. And who would you want, you know what I mean? Like, how would you want somebody to be treating you if you were dying? Would you want them to not show up because they're too afraid to see you?
No.
Would you want somebody that is so guilt-ridden that they can't come see you?
No, I mean...
Yeah. Do you want somebody that's going to sit there and look at you and just cry and tell you how much you're going to be missed and just cry and feel like they're going to be so lost without you?
No.
No. So and I think that makes it easier when you're able to be like, at whatever is happening in the person that's dying's life, and just be ready for the inevitable and enjoy every piece of life that you can. So like if I'm young, I think that it's going to probably be important for the people around me that I'm assuming I died pretty quickly at this point, right? Like to see me.
Right. You are young. So in a perfect world, you would... Because after
in a perfect world, I'd love green burial.
Right. That's more and more.
Yeah. But if it was to happen, you know, this year, say I get diagnosed with something, I'm going to knock on wood.
That's a good idea.
You get I get diagnosed with something and I have like a year left. I mean, I'm assuming I'd probably get a funeral with an embalming so that people could view me because I'm young, and it'd probably help. But some people get so freaked out about it. Like, they're so uncomfortable with seeing a dead body, with seeing somebody embalmed and it not looking like them, which I totally get. But at the same time, like, if you don't watch that person fade away, then you don't know if it's bringing, you know what I mean? Like, what level of comfort that's bringing to the people that were literally there by them until the day that they died. Because to some people, like, this person might look like shit. Like, it's not how I remember Susie looking 5 years ago.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
But then to the family who's been watching this person not decompose, but like wither away.
Yeah.
For the last 3 years, and she's been shut in home, not wanting visitors.
No, I get it.
You know, they were like, "Oh my gosh, Mom looks so good."
I mean, I always said I wanted to be, you know, I still want to be a full body burial. That's kind of where I'm leaning towards still. But after all that, I don't know if I want to be embalmed, but I understand you kind of have to be. Unless you do everything, you know, bing, bang, boom. Die Saturday, calling hours Sunday, burial Monday.
Yeah, but even with calling hours, you have to find a funeral home, because a lot of funeral homes aren't going to let you be viewed by the public without an embalming because of sanitation reasons.
Oh.
Like, your family would be able to view you, right? Like, your immediate family. And once again, that's up to the funeral home.
Right. I didn't think about that. So there is regulations on that as well.
Yeah, it's mostly at the discretion of the funeral home, right?
Which is probably a good thing, because they know best.
Yeah. Like, if you got into a car accident and your parents were like, "Yeah, we want to see him, but he can't be embalmed," chances are they're going to say, "We would really, really like for you to have him embalmed if you want to see him."
Now, are you also comfortable with sharing some of your bed embalmings or embalming stories? Just curious.
Yeah, I guess.
You don't have to. I mean, I'm just trying to think of...
I know, I'm trying to think of, like, experiences I'd had that were really bad.
Or good.
Yeah, I mean, there's times where the machine, and this has happened to a lot of funeral directors, it's like when you're aspirating, the hose backs up, so there's a clog. Like, say you're sucking something up, and it clogs, and then all of a sudden, all of the stuff that you're sucking up starts spewing out.
Okay.
Like, I know a funeral director that these two were embalming together, and she goes to pull out the aspirator, not realizing that it's, like, backing up. So she pulls it out, and as he's running out, she pulls it out, and it gets all over him. All over his back.
Blood?
Oh, insides.
Oh.
You're sucking out, so blood, organs, fluid, yeah. You're aspirating whatever's in the cavity.
That's not fun. Yeah.
I mean, there's been times where I cut into a sclerotic artery is one of the weirdest feeling. I don't know. It's like an super hard noodle, like before your noodles are soft, you know?
Al dente.
Yeah, it's super al dente. Like,
oh.
They're hard.
The wrong way. Yeah, al dente is soft.
Oh. What is hard?
Not al dente. I don't know. It's just a raw noodle.
I thought al dente was like medium. Like not too soft, not too hard.
No, well, yeah, I'm wrong. I'm not Italian, so.
I don't know. You got that one seashell thing right earlier.
Womp them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give a good little hot tip.
Me?
Yeah. Well, what you taught me today.
Oh.
Seashells were a form of currency.
Yes. For the Native Americans, as far as I remember.
Well, it was also said for Massachusetts, right? When we looked it up. Because I got the biggest chuckle out of this. I was like, what do you mean seashells were a form of currency?
Yeah, I thought so. I don't know. That's what I was taught in my public education. At the elementary school. And I guess it was accurate because that was the first currency in Massachusetts.
Yes.
Seashells. Yeah.
So, what was your question to me? I'm sorry, I got really off topic.
I thought of just bad...
Oh, bad experiences.
Well, I know...
I mean, I've had a phase start blowing up, right? So that's getting a bunch of fluid, and it's still not 100% embalmed. So you do like a cold pack, which is, a cloth full of cold water that you put on the area to decrease the inflammation. And hopefully, whatever fluid, it kind of helps push it around. I've just had people with really gross wounds or skin slip. Like somebody with skin slip, embalming them is really difficult, and cosmetizing them is very difficult. It's when the layers of the skin are already kind of shedding off, so you're not getting you're not getting like the top derma of the skin. You're getting like underneath, and it's not as, it's like wet, slippery.
Huh.
Yeah.
See, that's stuff I don't like.
Yeah, and like you can peel it off in sheets. It almost looks like you're from a sunburn. I don't know. I really can't think of too many negative like embalmings that I've witnessed. I mean, I'm trying to think of some stories. I mean, there are people with like such an overbite that, or like, buck teeth, that it's like super hard to close the mouth or really hard to make them look like themselves. I don't know. I can't think of in particular.
So I know, like, when we've had, some loved ones close to us that passed away, I know my mom has gone to the calling hours and been like, oh, she looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
It looked just like her. And she's been other ones where like, I don't know what the hell happened there.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't say that to the family, obviously, but you get back in the car and you're like, man, I'm like, I didn't even look like her.
Yeah. I've seen something like that too.
And it's...
I mean, I've cosmetized somebody that I was like, holy shit, this doesn't look like them at all because cancer changed them so much. Right. Or the family gave us a picture that wasn't from the last few months of, like, those are sometimes people that haven't seen them in a while. And then other times it could be... it could have been the embalming, right? Like the person wasn't getting distribution. They were blowing up in some areas, getting color in other areas. It could have been the way they died. They fell asleep. They were on their face. They slipped and fell and hit their head. They had an autopsy. Autopsies cause a lot of trauma and change things. Yeah, any accidents. if you were on life support for a while, I know that's a bitch of an embalming because you have so much fluid. So you haven't moved, so your circulation is trash. You usually retain a ton of fluid. You have edema, you know. I'm trying to think of ones too. I really can't. I mean, there's also like a lot of the instruments that we use are pretty standard. I mean, I use scissors to make my incision. Some people will use,
Really? You use a scalpel?
Yeah, I don't like a scalpel. I don't like the way it feels. I can't tell the amount of pressure I'm putting, like how deep I'm going, and I'm terrified to cut the vein or the artery.
Have you had to do an embalming for somebody you knew personally?
No.
Did you think you can be able to handle that?
I would feel honored.
Honored?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I feel when I do most embalmings, honestly. It's like that's the only thing that really gets you through it is that you're with them, you know, you're not going to be taking advantage of anything. You're not like, you know, being like a slime ball. You're just there to try to make this person look better.
I mean,
so that their family can feel better.
It is a big responsibility.
Yeah.
So I guess it would be definitely an honorable. I mean, I guess funeral directors in general have a very honorable profession.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. That's so kind of you.
Yeah. No.
I'm writing that in the book.
Yep.
What's today's date?
I thought there would be a rebuttal, but no, just one-way street. Okay.
What do you mean rebuttal?
You know.
Or you want a compliment back? Is what you're saying.
I'm just saying that's how a normal, conversation.
Oh my god, I would give you a compliment. I'm not going to give you a compliment just because you gave me a compliment.
I'm good at compliments. I don't want them.
I'll give you a compliment later when it's unexpected.
I've been holding my breath for that for a while. Now, this is something I never knew about embalming, is that if you go to a funeral home and you do all your pre-arrangements with, say, your boss, and it doesn't mean that he's going to do the embalming.
That's correct. I
assumed if you do your pre-arrangements with one person, you just stay with them, and they care for you or your family member for the whole process. But some funeral directors don't do embalmings.
I would say most.
So it's only like a select few that do it.
There's
regularly.
Arrangers, and then there's usually embalmers, and they're like two separate types of people too. Like usually the arrangers are like very outgoing and like
but to use car salesman.
Yeah, like kind of a they have more of a louder personality.
Yeah,
you know,
chummy.
Yeah, they're able to like really comfort families. They understand like the small details in like the service itself. Whereas embalmers are looking at more of the small details, you know, with the body, and they're really good at understanding the chemicals and what chemicals to use for an embalming to make this person particularly look the best. They're good at cosmetizing, you know, there's just different facets. They're good at transporting. Like some people look at a situation and they know immediately what to do and it runs super smooth. Some people show up to a situation and they're like, oh, I have to think about like how I'm going to exit. How am I going to get this body out?
Now, you being a female, is it expected that you're better at cosmetizing than?
For sure.
And do you think you are, though?
In the same sense that, like, I went on a transfer today with a man because it was a home removal. So it was me and this other funeral director. And it was upstairs. And the house is full of family members. And as we're about to bring her down the stairs, and this gentleman I was with asked, he's like, are you okay going down the stairs? Because he took the heavy end. He took the head end. And I was like, yeah, I don't care going down the stairs. He's like, are you sure? I've never gone down the stairs in heels. And I was like, well, I have, and I'm sure. Thank you for asking. So we start proceeding out, and one of the sons comes up, and he looks me dead in the eyes, and he goes, can you carry her?
Did that hurt?
Yeah, it does a little.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do understand it. And then, of course, this funeral director I'm with makes a little joke because we're close. He goes, yeah, doesn't trust women. I get it. Like just being a smart ass. But he laughs too because he witnesses a lot going on transfers with me, like just seeing how undermined I guess I get in like the ability and people's like fear that I won't be able to do something.
Gee.
Yeah. So I don't know. I do kind of feel like most women are better at cosmetizing than men. I'm not saying that some male funeral directors are really good at cosmetizing. They, you know, really listened in that class, or they just understand it. But it's more natural for women. I mean, most women grow up dabbling in makeup themselves, wearing it themselves, kind of understanding contour and facial structure more than men do. But like I said, not to say that there are some women that don't like to wear any makeup and have no idea where to start with cosmetology and would much rather carry the heavy end downstairs first, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's all preference, but I think that because of what I look like and like my stature.
Yes, because you're smaller. You're a smaller individual.
Yeah, I'm short. Well, I'm not like a petite human. Like, I think that I think I look strong. Do I look strong?
Yeah.
Or is it surprising that I can carry things?
No, I know. I think you look like you're like an athletic build.
Oh, I look athletic?
You're not, but I know. As if you look athletic.
I hike.
No, I know. I'm kidding. I know.
I do things.
No, I know. But I know because I know you played sports and everything. So, no, I was being a jerk. But, yeah, I would say you do. I'm trying to word this delicately, and I know I'm not very good at this part, but, like, you're not, like, a super, like, girly girl.
Yeah.
So, like, to me, I could kind of see you, not say tomboy, but being able to, like, go and do things, like, and not be afraid to.
But on first glance, I feel like that's not the perception, because I have long hair, and, like, I'm usually in heels.
Right. No, I mean,
so, like, if I meet a family, they're not like, oh, this girl gets down in the mud.
No.
Like, she's a rough and ready type of girl.
Okay. Rough and ready, okay.
Well, is that sexual? I never realized that. I just thought it was like kind of like a farmer, you know?
Yeah, no, sure, yeah. Anywho.
Yeah, so they kind of question whether or not I'm going to be able to lift things, and that's majority of it. But I'm also the first one to get a hug, so I think people are more hesitant to hug a man for whatever reason. We all know why.
So, Morty, is there anything else you would like to add when it comes to embalming, or is there anything else you want to share, or do you think that covers the
I think
grand
that's a pretty good gist.
Mm-hmm.
If this is a good spot to stop and, you know, once again ask, please send us questions.
Yes, this will be, because, you know, the same thing with the last one with the cremations. Like, I went through it, but I might have skipped a whole area that you
were curious about.
Yeah, so let it rip. You know, you could ask us away, and we can always revisit these topics pretty easily, or just do a whole episode on just answering questions. That's fine with me.
That'd be
too.
So fun.
Yeah, I'd have a lot of fun with that one. That would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be really good.
But anyway, we just want to say thanks for listening. Once again, check out our social media, our Instagram, and our Facebook. Give Barry a good old email.
Yes, Dying to Share podcast at gmail.com. Yeah. Thank you again for listening as always. And we will catch you
keep
next
it
time.
real. Come on. Just once. Give the people what they want.
Keep it